Your specific position for or against the funding of charter schools and or private schools with taxpayer dollars, local, state, and federal.
The funding of charter schools and private schools through taxpayer money. Our parents just have the need and desire to find the best educational match for their individual students. All children are different and they require different educational settings to support them.
What specific ways will you encourage teacher and staff involvement in the educational decision-making process?
I have been a big advocate of the town hall approach for all citizens, so this would include educators, staff, and the community, which I'm happy to hear is being started up at the end of November. Also, there are a number of advisory committees available to our citizens and to the teachers and staff. For example, the Community Advisory Committee that I am on found this to be a very edifying committee, very informative, and a way to express concerns for the educational schooling system. In addition, I think that there could be some liaison activity that would bolster schools with PTOs being added to our schools, and then have that a member there, possibly a chairman of a PTO, be able to contribute to the school board, as we do have a student liaison who already has that role.
Do you support parents reviewing curriculum for all classes in a timely manner? And will you validate and incorporate their comments accordingly?
Yes, transparency of curriculum is essential. Parents and citizens in the community pay for the curriculum and the textbooks. Mm-hmm. They need to know the content. We should all be very curious about what is in the curriculum and the instructional methods, the pedagogy that is used in the classrooms. If we are not curious as a board and as a body of citizens, we are letting our children down.
The question for both of you is this. Please describe your experiences working with the children in Mathews County.
Had the ability yet to work with children directly in Mathews County. I am very well versed in working with children. And children, what I've found by visiting and speaking nationally, children do not exhibit, they're all individuals, but they are all very approachable. I have really enjoyed working with my children, my own children, and the children that I serviced, but I have not worked with the children in this community yet. I am in the volunteer process, and I have spoken with Mrs. Gray about getting involved with the elementary school.
Question. With the student population continuing to decline, how do you propose to remedy this issue?
The remedy to the issue here is achievement. Achievement. We have a significant problem in our district with testing scores, with absenteeism, and with graduation rates. If we want to attract community to our community, if we want to bring people, young families here, you know, when you had young children, you sought excellent education. It must be reflected in the scores of our school if we want to have families with children coming to support our community. No one will move here with young children to a school that they are not sure will support their children educationally in terms of achievement.
Dr. Gibbs, do you support restricting or banning access to books based on a particular type of content or parent request?
I am excited about this because it is coming to light that we will have public access to our school library system. That is going to be offered up on agenda item 7.10 at the upcoming school board meeting. So this is a good start. We can all see what books are in our public libraries in the school settings. To answer the question directly, yes, the books that are inappropriate at an inappropriate educational level, that do not provoke critical thinking, that do include sexually explicit dialogue or diagrams and profanity, should not be in schools.
Thank you, Ms. Forrest. This question is for Dr. Gibbs. Dr. Gibbs, Do you believe Matthews County Public Schools should ever decline federal funding? Yes, no, and why or why not?
I am tempted to say yes on this question because I do believe that. We are having a lot of funding that is attached to strings that are forcing us to implement things in schools that the citizens do not want. And I know this by talking to the citizens. So while I am not a voting member, I have not sat in on the budget work sessions, which I hope to be able to do. I do feel that that is a situation that we could be faced with. It is imperative that we control the content of what our children are learning and that it is not tied to money and strings for other things such as food programs and things like that, that the community, the citizens do not want here.
Dr. Gibbs, your campaign signs are placed on the parcel of land where large Confederate flags are flown. What is your feeling about these flags, especially the one across from the elementary school?
I'm very glad that this question was asked. This is not a question about flags. This is a question about people who have children in our school system. I have been honored through this candidate process that people have requested so many of my signs. Many of the signs that have been put up in the community, I did not know the community members. But I reached out to specific members to find out their concerns and their thoughts about children in the schools. And I found out that their concerns are the same as every other parent and grandparent that I've been speaking with. They want their children to thrive in school, and they are very concerned that they are not having that opportunity. So I am honored by everyone who chose to put a sign on their property in this community.
Could you please define equity?
Equity does not have a definition that is functional in our school board. It was read a couple of school board meetings ago by Mr. Priest. It was a long rambling definition that really was very mushy. I think in the way that we are using the terminology or that term in our society today, it stands for equal outcomes. This is an unrealistic goal. I would say that equal opportunity, equal access, all those forms of equality are things we typically do very well, and I think those should persist. But the goal of equity, as that term is being used commonplace at this time, is not a realistic goal. I will never be a football player, at least I wouldn't be a successful one, no matter what. So I do not agree with the use of that term, especially as it applies to school and children.